Hello and welcome to Minecraft Chemistry Session in Tech Camp. My name is Ryan Peterson and I teach 6th grade science at Cheney Middle School in West Fargo, North Dakota. I will share with you the Minecraft Education Edition, how I got started, some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and my chemistry in Minecraft unit that I have used for the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I have learned a lot of tips and tricks and some things that have really helped me get this unit to be a lot smoother and more focused on what they're learning rather than just playing. I feel pretty good about it right now, and I'm going to share with you some of these things. But let's get started with my unit. I'll get to a PowerPoint here. Here we go. So first of all, I'm sure all of you have heard of Minecraft, and one of the differences though is Minecraft Education Edition is a separate package. It's available to teachers. I don't even know if the other people can get it anymore, like the normal clientele at home. It might be just available for schools. Well, anyhow, the Minecraft Education Edition has some features that really help a teacher control the classrooms and make this work. So let's start off with the Minecraft itself, the initial game that started, when was it? 2011. Minecraft is a sandbox video game, which means that it's virtual land where users can create their own worlds and experiences. Using building blocks, resources discovered, and their own creativity, they can build practically anything. It was created by Swedish developer Marcus Persson, released by Mojang in 2011 and purchased by Microsoft in 2014. The game can be played on a computer, smartphone, tablet, Xbox, Nintendo, Wii, or PlayStation, pretty much anywhere. As my kids play it on their phones all the time. It drives me crazy. It is a single best-selling video game of all time, selling over 180 million copies across all platforms by the late 2019, with over 112 million monthly active players. Now, that is different slightly than the Minecraft Education Edition. The Education Edition is a version of Minecraft designed for education in the classroom. Education Edition allows teachers to have fun and interactive lessons for their students through the game of Minecraft. Students of all ages can learn from this edition. So it's kind of an added package on top of like the normal Minecraft. Educators can create their own lesson plans using the resources available to them in-game. We'll talk about that. In addition, there are multiple lesson plans already available for use that cover a variety of subjects like language arts, science, history, culture, computer science, art, and design and math. There's a lot of them on here. I'll show you that site in a little bit. Now, there's lots of things to this. Like when I was trying to come up with a lesson of how I can make this work in the classroom, I wanted to make this focus on chemistry and make it engaging and interesting. So how do I do that with kids, but not lose control where they just play and don't learn anything? Now, it's really hard to teach intro to chemistry to 6th graders because they can't see the atoms, and I have to teach it to them. There's lots of me just talking and explaining, and to them, they just hear blah, 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 recess, blah, blah, blah. And so things go, sometimes it's not very easy. So I try to create as many visuals and try to get them as involved as possible, but that's not always easy. So I researched videos and YouTubes about atoms, about elements, and again, all I found were videos or lectures of teachers going too deep, too fast for my 6th graders. So what else could I do? I could get them engaged through video games. I mean, what kid doesn't like video games? You just mentioned it. They love video games. However, they also, if you have kids like my own kids, if they're playing video games, they tune out everything else in the world and just focus on the game. So how do I balance that? And well, Minecraft was definitely an option, and I did a lot of research. I was also fortunate to have a couple experiences with it. First of all, my oldest son, he went to Moorhead, and when he was in sixth grade, he joined a Minecraft club. And in that Minecraft club, he got to play with other friends, and it was just kind of a group thing, after school type club. And I thought that was really cool. So when I came to the middle school, I wanted to do something like that too. And I even met with the reps from Minecraft, and they they talked about how to bring it into the classroom, which at that point I wasn't sure it could happen. We discussed the standards and how could it make it work, and I'm one of those people who's not going to do something on a Minecraft world that takes 2 weeks when I could just teach it in a classroom in one day. But anyhow, with those reps, I had brought up it'd be cool to have a crafting using the elements, and how could we make that to be more real life. And they told me at the time they didn't have anything like that, but a year later they came out with the Minecraft Education Edition with the chemistry version that had exactly what I asked. So that was awesome that they did that. And my other experience was when I did come to middle school, I did start and I joined another teacher here at the middle school, Mr. Wiggles, and we did a after school gamers club. So it's kind of focused on video games, but I really wanted to bring in the Minecraft and do some competitions, do some mini games in Minecraft. And the after school gamers club is really good for those that might not be in any sports or other activities, that they have something to be a part of in middle school. And it's worked out pretty well. Now, as I was thinking about how I'm going to teach the chemistry using Minecraft, I kind of focus on the matter and its interactions standard in the next generation science standards. And some of the things that I just kind of focused on or topics are like the atomic composition of simple molecules, determine if chemical reaction has occurred, synthetic materials from natural resources, changes in particle motion, temperature, states of pure substances. I mean, there's a lot here with the chemistry part, and a lot of it is with models, interacting data, and designing projects to construct. So these are the middle school standards. So with those in mind, I started some research, and the first thing I went to, I'm going to close out of this, is I went to the Minecraft Education Center, or to the community page, and um, I wanted to, I'll get back to this one. I wanted to try to find something. There's so much out there, but the community page was really good to help me find some information that I could use. And let me end this temporarily and go to that web page. So in the Minecraft Education Edition here, there's how it works. So a little bit about Minecraft, why Minecraft in the classroom, and you can listen to all of their information, some ideas. They did do a sample video to get people excited if you're trying to sell it at your school, and just a little bit more information about it if you want to get that. I don't want to focus on that right now because I want to kind of teach you how I got it running and what it looks like. So I started off with the researching. I can go to the find a lesson here. You can even, so if I go to find a lesson, I'll go to this part. I can search by science or subject or any other. I can search all of them. There's some featured lessons down here that they have built some of them, the creators of Minecraft, and then there's some that the teachers have even done and shared in the community. But even if I go to science, there really is a lot more here than when I started. When I started, they had just a few, and that's kind of where I got my idea. So they had initially about 10 lessons when I started, and I looked at them, and some of them were pretty basic, like just really simple, not much depth to it. Just have kids build something or go explore. And it to me, it just kind of lost the focus from the chemistry. So I wanted to redesign it a little bit to be closer to what we were doing. And with these lessons, I researched a bunch of them, and but there was about 10 of them that I really thought were a little bit more focused and more closely related to what I was teaching. And from those lessons, I started thinking about ways to do it. What I ended up finding later in one of those lessons was this lab journal. Let me see if I can make it smaller. This lab journal ends up being kind of like my answer key. And it shows me some of the things that are specific to the education edition with the element constructor, compound creator, lab table, material reducer. Those are some things that we can give them, that give the students, and they can build or do different science experiments using these types of, I don't know what you could call them, tools. And from here, I got some information, and that's really what drove me to put together this unit. And I knew I could make it work. So I took this information and I kind of deleted parts and I made worksheets out of it because I wanted them to stay focused and I wanted them to prove to me that they're doing it rather than just playing. There's quite a few kids out there who will say they're doing it but really are just playing, they're not even involved. And that's kind of the tricky part. How do you keep them on task? How do you keep them motivated? How do you keep them responsible? So from there, I started creating the lessons and started formulating them. Now, let me get back to my PowerPoint here. So as I was building, uh, that's when it hit me. You know, it's one thing to put worksheets together, but another thing, how do I make a Minecraft world? And well, I was a newbie. I played a couple times with my oldest son, really didn't know what I was doing. He ended up doing a lot for me, and I just kind of followed him around a little bit and gotten stuck in holes and things like that. But I built a few things, and I might build one little tiny house, and he had like 13 buildings up in that same time. So I was slow. I needed help. So I hired my son and I had him help me, but he soon lost focus and he ended up just playing and chasing wolves and cats and dogs all over the place. So I used what I could with him and then I try to go myself. But it did teach me one thing is that when I need help, all I have to do is ask. And same in the classroom, there's many students who are willing to help and give you little tips. I even have some kids come up to my computer and do some things for me while I just talk about it, or I just ask questions. And they love being the experts because there are a lot of experts out there in Minecraft. Now, the Minecraft lessons. So when I was doing this, I realized that I needed a flow. I needed a flow from one of those worksheets to the next so that they kind of built on top of each other. I wanted it so that it got more in depth as I went, starting with the basics, with the simple atom. So I started with the atom and I tried to build from there. And I also wanted kids to show their work because if they just did it on Minecraft, how do I know if they're really doing it? And um, so I wanted the worksheets. I wanted them to write down so I could walk around the room and see that they're working because I found out, and luckily I had the worksheets because I found out a lot of the kids are just out there exploring, digging for diamonds, and even just running around having fun instead of doing the work. and I want them to show me so I can say, whoa, whoa, you haven't written anything down in the last 15 minutes. I need you to get back on task, or you need to go to the self-contained classroom, and I'll show you what that is later. So usually they get back to work. They get back to work. Oops, I keep clicking buttons. All right. Another thing I wanted was I wanted them to work in teams, because not all students are at the same level of Minecraft. Some are very advanced, some are super quick and can be done with all my work within a couple days, and some would take forever. So I try to make teams, and I've been pretty fortunate that I would say 75% of the kids have played Minecraft. Some of them not very much, and some not at all. So it helps to be in a team, especially for those that are struggling with controls, kind of like me, and take a long time to move around. And the last thing is, I still have to make it fun. I still have to give them some freedom. I want them to explore a little bit, and want to make it really engaging. And I've gotten that from a lot of students in their feedback. All right, so I just showed you kind of the Minecraft chemistry lab journal and the information. Here's a link to it if you need to get to it again. And then what I'm going to do is show you some commands, tips, and tricks. Now, before we get into the Minecraft world, there's a few things that we do need to know as teachers. So students are great helpers. Just ask a trusted student to teach or show you how to do something if you get stuck or really don't know how to do it. I try to set up my world so that I share it with my other sixth grade colleagues, and I try to set it up so that they could do it not knowing hardly anything about Minecraft. I wanted to set up so all they have to do is either break a certain block and let students into that area, or just let them go. So I'll show that to you again later, but I just wanted to make it easy. So what are some simple commands that you do need to know? The first one is a world builder command. For some reason, they turn this off on the teacher every time you enter a world, but all you have to do is do the \WB and then hit enter. And that's on a computer. iPad is a little bit different, but we can get that too. But this world builder command gives the teacher a command to do anything. So they can fly, they can break red border blocks that other kids can't do. It just gives you basically the teacher power command, okay? Another one that comes in really useful is a teleport command. And this is one where it helps to have a student help you with if you've never done it, but you can learn it too. It's simple, just a \TP and then a space, and then you start typing in the last name if it shows up as that. Start typing in the last name, and once it starts highlighting, you can tab, and it'll just autofill the rest of their name. Then space, and then where do you want them to go? So in other words, what person? So if I'm teleporting a student, say it's Johnny, I type in J-O, and then tab because Johnny starts to highlight, and then I hit space, and I want them to teleport to me, right to where I am. So I start typing in mine, and in my case, my name shows up as Peterson, P-E-T, and then I'll highlight that, and I hit tab, enter. And that student will teleport right to where I'm at, which is really helpful for certain situations, like if a student is lost. Sometimes they're lost and they have no idea how to get back to base camp or to their area, so you can teleport them. If you need to teleport a class back to the base camp, so let's say they're all getting a little bit crazy, or you want to reset every day and they come back to the camp, or you just need them back for some reason. I want to show them the next lesson. Another thing is if a student is just off task and constantly, I'll get to that. I'm going to get to that. And yeah, I'm working on it. And yet they still never do. So what I can do is I can go into that self-contained classroom and teleport them to me in that area, and they can't get out. So they have to do their work in there, and they can't explore anymore. They don't want to be there. So it works at, I think one kid called it a classroom jail or something like that, but I don't want to use that word in class. But so that is the teleport command. And then a reward. Sometimes I like to do this when classes are working really hard doing something. I like to do some fun things with them, and I'll reward them with like a super speed or a fly ability for a few minutes. And that's another one that you can have a student help you with, or we can figure it out later. But so those are fun. Or give them a potion. Now, the teacher has specific things in the education edition world that make this unique. First of all, the red border blocks, the students cannot break, go through, over, or under these blocks. They are like an imaginary line and it protects it. So you can control them, you can lock them in an area, or they can't get to an area. Another helpful one is deny blocks. So students cannot build or break on these blocks. And I use those for my base so that they can't damage or destroy anything on my base that I already created. So that part is kind of off limits to them. All right, so that is kind of the intro. Some basic things about Minecraft versus Minecraft Education Edition, and some things I thought about when I started. In my next video, I'll share more about the Minecraft. I'll share my worksheets with you, and I'll share the worlds with you. All right.